Hello everyone, my name is Susan Mwikali and I am deaf, like completely deaf, and I'm a Kenyan. I am a mother of 2 children and I am married, and my husband is not deaf, my husband is hearing. I basically come from a family of 5 girls and I'm the only one who is deaf. Every other person in my family is hearing. So where do I work? I work at a hospital called Avenue Hospital, which is a private hospital located in Westlands constituency, specifically in Parklands. And what do I work as? I am a nurse aide in the ICU pediatric department. I am so proud that I am deaf and I am able to work in an ICU. It is not an easy task, it's a very complicated department. How did I get this job? That's what I want to share. So some years back, I worked with an NGO called LVCT. And what did I work as well? I worked there. LVCT works on HIV and AIDS. And I worked with the deaf community. I was a VCT counselor and a community mobilizer. So deaf people would come for testing so that they get to know their HIV status like all the other Kenyans. And that way they would be able to save their lives. I would be able to advise them what to do if you're HIV positive and how to take your medication and what to do if you're HIV negative. So I worked there for 8 years. And after that, I left and became a businesswoman. But while I was doing business, I still felt like something is missing. Something is really missing. There's a lot of communication barriers in our hospitals. A lot. Everyone talks, or the nurses speak, they don't sign. So what happens when a deaf person goes to a hospital? They get all these challenges. They go to the doctor, they cannot communicate. So I was ready to take this challenge and assist and provide them with services. So I sat back and thought to myself, where do I start? I know it's not easy for deaf people to access any nursing school, because everybody will be scared of how they're going to communicate with us and they'll not be ready to take us in. So one time I met this friend of mine who told me that Avenue is providing training for nurses for 2 full years, like on a daily basis, full time. So I went there and made an inquiry, and when I asked, they said no. They were scared, they didn't know how to go about it, but I didn't get tired. I kept asking. I went a second time and a third time. I kept asking, and they rejected me. I one time took the constitution with me and tried to show them what the constitution of Kenya says, that they should not deny me access to education because I am deaf. So I showed them and I told them, I know I'm deaf, but I have a right to access education like any other Kenyan. And it is important for me as a deaf person to access that. If you do not take me in, I can easily go to court. I think from that, they were a bit scared and they welcomed me. And they said clearly that they will not be able to afford an interpreter for me. They told me, Susan, you're going to have to bring your own interpreter and pay the interpreter by yourself. That was the only way to get communication easy for me. So I started looking for an interpreter. So I went to Monica's office, that is Cecily's, and they supported me with an interpreter to go to school. That is how I went to school. I did this for 2 years, and I would go to class from 7 to 6 in the evening. It was challenging. I did not have that much money, because I wasn't working. I needed transport, I needed school fees, and I live in Embakasi. So from Parklands, I had to commute all the way to Embakasi. So I would go back and forth. I was patient for the 2 years and I completed. From my 2 years of experience, nursing school was not the easiest. The terminologies, that came with it, the vocabulary, the medicine vocabulary that comes with it is not the easiest. And me being deaf didn't make it any better. I was patient, I studied, I went through it all, and I went through it all with an interpreter. And after that, we had to go back and now practice what we learned in class. We had to work in the hospital to show that we are able to do what we have learned in class. We were actually two deaf people. It was I and a deaf man that we enrolled for the classes with. So we went and started our practice at the hospital, and we agreed as deaf people we have to work extra hard to show everybody that we can be role models in the deaf community and show people that deaf people can do it. So we were very patient, we worked and learned through it. We worked for about 4 months, and after that we went back home to wait for our certificates. It took about 2 months for the certificates to be ready, and we went back to collect them. And the rule was, if you got anything above 70%, that was a pass. But if you got anything below 70%, then you failed. Let me tell you, I was so excited to learn that the two of us had passed. That was the most wonderful thing, because the exams are not the easiest. Sitting down there doing an exam with someone guarding you with a gun is not the easiest thing. It's scary, but we did it and we passed our exams. So we took our certificates and went back home and continued with our lives. I started taking care of my children, but during the graduation, the matron spoke to us and said, you know what, you people have worked extra hard, you people have taken good care of our patients, and patients have commended your job. And for that reason, would you please leave your CVs before you can go? So the two of us left our CVs at the hospital and we went back home. So like I said, I continued my life, no job, started taking care of my children. Then this one evening, the hospital called my husband and they asked him, is Susan around, your wife? And he said, yes, she's here with me. And they were like, tell her to come to the hospital tomorrow morning. I was so excited that I woke up so early. I was at the hospital at 6 in the morning. So excited because I was hoping I was going to be given a job. So I was at the reception at 6 waiting for the director to come. And the director came, invited me to the office and put my certificates on the table. And asked me, is this yours? And I was like, yeah, this is mine. I submitted it a while back. And the director told me, our patients recommended you. You have been highly recommended for the job that you did with us for 4 months. And we would want to give you a job. I was so happy. They even gave me an option of choosing the department that I want to work in. And I chose maternity. And the director called the maternity boss. And when she came, he explained that Susan wants to work in that department. And Susan is excited to work with children and mothers, so take her. I couldn't believe that I got this job. The excitement that ran through my mind was overwhelming. So I went to the HR, got my uniform, got my job card, got everything that I needed, and I went into the maternity section to just see where I'll be working moving forward. So I worked there for a while, and then one time I remembered there was this deaf man that I was in school with, and having not worked there for so many months, I did not even hesitate. I went back to the director and requested for this man to be given a job. And my argument was I needed someone to communicate with, someone I can sign with. And the director didn't hesitate. He was like, just call the man, tell him to come back. And he came back and he was also given a job. So now we are two deaf people employed in this hospital. I am happy. I have been so excited about this and I thank the hospital. But most importantly, I want to thank God for opening the door for us, for giving us a way, for showing the world that we can do it. We have been the first deaf people to get a job in a hospital in Kenya. The two of us are proud of it. The two of us have shown other deaf people that they can do it. It is not so hard. You just need to put a little extra effort and you can do it. The way we did it. Nothing difficult. We believe that we deaf people can be able to do anything anybody else can do if you're given a chance. Thank you for listening to me.